What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video by Helmet 49ers podcast. I'm your host, JT. My co-host is my dad.
Good to be here, JT. Good to be here.
First, don't forget to like
And subscribe.
cue the intro music. So, it's been a while since we made our last podcast, but that's because not much was happening in that time.
What are you talking
Kinda.
about?
Ever since we made the podcast, a lot of stuff has been happening after that.
yeah, a lot of off-season stuff. Yeah,
But free agency is happening really soon.
yeah. Next week,
It's like Monday. When we
Monday.
can start tampering legally.
Exactly. You're right. I think is it Wednesday is the official day. I think.
They had one day to tamper.
Yeah, you got some tampering days, and then you have to. I think there. Yeah, Wednesday, March 13th is the official first day of free agency, which means
You can
that
fish
they
some
can
contracts.
exactly. You can just sign the contracts and make it official, but you can start negotiating and agreeing to contracts before that during the legal tampering period. So, yep, there's a lot of things happening. We had the combine just end, and it was exciting, right? So, just saying,
Yeah.
right? And then we're going backwards, right? And then before that, it was the whole DC defensive coordinator search for us. So a lot of things have happened since we last did our podcast. You were saying. So, um, first thing, well, one of the big news at the end, right, of the season was Ayuk, Brandon Ayuk. He had a great season, best season of his career, and he's on his fifth-year option, right? Is he
Yeah.
not? Yeah.
So this is not his last year, but he's looking for an extension.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been drama because his girlfriend said that he's not going to be back with the 49ers again, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
Or
he was hinting to that. She was hinting. She said something like, that he wouldn't be coming back to Levi's.
yeah, I think she needs to do some more research.
No research.
I know what she's actually talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
She's saying that she's gonna eat that. Are you gonna retire or not gonna be in the NFL again?
yeah. We know what she's trying to say is that this is the last game playing for the 49ers, which is really pretty much what she was trying to convey. She didn't say it that way. Even as an away team, he won't step into Levi Stadium. That's what she was saying, literally. But
whenever he finds out that this team is going against the 49ers, he's gonna request a trade so he avoids the Niners.
yeah, exactly. His friend also said something too about that he won't be back, and this is the reason why Ayuk shouldn't be here and stuff.
To be
His
fair,
usage.
like 3 receptions in the Super Bowl, not enough. I think.
No, and even the NFC Championship game. Besides that great catch he made, the ladybug catch, he was kind of not around, not a big deal. So there's been questions about whether he shows up or not when the lights are brightest. That is a valid question, you know. So can he be top tier? Because he wants to be paid top tier wide receiver money. Now we know that the salary cap went up.
Like $30 million.
Yeah, like $30.6 million. So it should help the Niners a little bit in getting an extension done. Hopefully that will be it. And Ayuk, you want Ayuk to stay, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think they put a lot of time. I mean, it's been 4 years, a lot of time, a lot of training, teaching, and getting him much better. And for us to just let him go and we get some rookie or something to fill in his shoes, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to work that well. So I hope we can get Ayuk to an extension and make him happy. And hopefully it's no long holdout. That's the worst thing is that he holds out and these contract negotiations last too long. Then he misses training camp, OTAs, and all this other stuff. Because we've been through that before too. So, and I could mess up somebody's season, without enough practice and training and stuff. So, well, let's go on to the next thing, huh?
Big news. Nick Sorensen, the 49ers pass game coordinator.
Is that what it
What do
was?
you think? Was it?
No, I think so. Yeah, defensive pass game. That sounds familiar. Yeah, I
Well,
think
he's no
so.
longer that.
Whatever that means. Yeah.
He's not a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's is in house. Yeah, so that's what.
Robert Sala and D'Amico Ryans were.
Yeah, exactly, and because Wilkes was fired, and he was an outside guy, and he had to kind of adapt his type of style and scheme to our scheme, because Shanahan wants to run the scheme that we've been running for years. So that put Wilkes in a bad spot. So it kind of made sense to get somebody in house that knows the scheme well and knows Shanahan well, so they can work together. But that's kind that's kind of big news. But the bigger news, your favorite person got hired and is a Niner now.
Yeah, he's my favorite coach.
Yeah,
Great head coach.
great head coach.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Nick Sorensen's gonna be defensive coordinator for a long time because Brandon Staley is assistant head coach,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
but I feel like he's assistant defensive coordinator.
So he's below Nick Sorensen, you're saying.
Yes.
So Nick Sorensen is going to tell Brandon Staley what to do.
No, I think Brandon Staley's telling what Nick Sorensen what to do, but like on the mid position level, of Nick Sorensen's higher. Like
Yeah.
maybe Brandon Staley gives Nick Sorensen some tips because even though Brandon Staley had a terrible defense with the Chargers, he had like the number one defense, I believe, in the Rams Super Bowl year. Probably it makes sense because the Rams had number one defense and they won the Super Bowl. I think so.
Okay, I forgot what year that was.
2020.
2020. Okay. Um, I think yeah. Um, so yeah, I think he had. You said he had the number one defense in the Rams. He was only there for 1 year, so not a long streak.
Yeah, he was the outside linebackers coach, I think, for the Rams for a long time.
Okay. Um, well, I like that. Can he adapt to what Shanahan wants, or is Shanahan gonna adapt a little to what Brandon Staley
Don't
might?
do that. No, he's a terrible head coach. Why would you learn from the worst head coach of all time?
Because he's not gonna be a head coach. He's not a head coach. He's defensive coordinator. Sorry, he's not a defensive coordinator. He's an assistant to the head coach, assistant head coach. I mean, and he's gonna be probably helping out Sorensen because he's never called plays before. This is the first time, and he wasn't even really a positions coach most recently. So I don't know. I think I think it's a balance, and it's a little risky. But I think this is a good balance of getting the young guy in house, plus getting a little bit of outside advice and knowledge and experience from somebody who's been DC and a head coach, um, and who's led a number one defense. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a nice balance of getting a little bit of both, a little bit of the new, a little bit of the old, um, kind of both ways. Maybe Nick Sorensen is the old guy because he's been around, and Staley's actually the new guy because he has his own style and own scheme and own thoughts. So I hope it works out. I hope it gets. I hope it's exciting. I hope it works out. So yeah. All right. So let's kind of review last year's draft. Yeah, you're shaking your head. You're shaking your head, man.
It's like a D plus.
I never said graded, man. But yeah. Looking out afterwards, I think you were excited when we first got it. Of course, everything is fresh and new when you first draft somebody until they actually play. And you're like, oh my God, this guy's terrible. Oh my God, this guy can't get on the field. So yeah. Okay. So you said you memorized every pick. Let's do it. Let's go over the picks real quickly and see where we're at from last year's draft and see if there's any carryover of things that we need still from this year's draft.
First pick, Jair Brown. Trade up for him.
Okay.
I think it was very much worth it because he was pretty good for a rookie. Top 5 in PFF grades on defense for the Niners
Wow.
as a
Wow.
rookie.
And he got that Super Bowl interception. When
Yes.
the lights were brightest, he shined.
Unlike our other rookies.
Yeah. Well, they're rookies. You got to expect that. You got to have that risk of putting rookies in big moments, and that's a risk that you are, or Shanahan is willing to take sometimes, and he did with, say, Jake Moody. Um, that was a choice, but Jair Brown was not a choice because of injury. It kind of forced him to have to use him, and he shined. So sometimes it's you need to push those rookies out there. You won't know what you got until you play them. Um.
Next
Okay.
is Jake Moody.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Next one,
don't want
Jake
to talk
Moody.
about this guy anymore.
uh. Okay. People say he survived this first season. First season.
Barely.
So
And also, it's not over yet. He hasn't been cut yet.
Jake Moody.
Yeah.
Come on now. No, he's gonna be the guy. He did pretty good for a rookie. He held the record for the longest Super Bowl kick ever.
For a quarter and a half. Something like that.
Okay, yeah, there's a little asterisk there. And what's the guy's name?
Harrison Bucker.
Yeah, whatever. That guy, yeah. That guy beat Jake Moody's record by a couple yards, right? Was it
Yeah.
55 to 57, I think, or
Mhm.
something like that? Yeah. Well, anyways. Okay, Jake Moody,
Saved all his misses for the playoffs.
that was that is a pain. I'm hoping he'll get over that mental hump in his head and do better next year. If he does do better next year, then it's a win. But so far, he did C plus, B minus in the season. I would say, he had some
How
misses.
about in the playoffs?
Okay, playoffs, yes, C minus maybe.
That's generous.
Oh, come on, he made a couple 50 plus yarders in the Super Bowl, didn't he not? So you got to give him some cred, but he's got to get that point after attempt a little higher. And it's not like his first time ever making those PATs. But yeah. Anyways, next, who's the next player we drafted? JD.
We drafted Cameron Latu, and he was injured for the whole season, so we don't know.
Supposedly mysterious. Yeah, yeah.
But in the preseason, he did not look good.
I've heard from John Chapman, Niners Rush podcast. He said he saw some of the worst was it practice tape ever from Cameron Latu. So for me, I mean, I was not a big fan of him when we drafted him. He seemed okay. He's coming from Alabama, He's red zone threat and all that. He seemed like, oh, he can do something. But he got beaten out by who's our other tight end? Braden Willis.
Warner,
Braden Willis. He got beat out soon after in the pecking order. Cameron Latu dropped to the bottom, and then he had this mysterious injury, and then they put him on season-ending IR, and it's like they just put him on the shelf, basically. I think, and they said, "Forget it. This guy is a big project. We don't want to lose him because we spent a third-round pick. So we'll just put him on IR, and then that'll probably put him into restricted free agent mode, like Juwan Jennings, because this season will not count. I think so. Anywho's, all right. So not so hot on that tight end, I'd say.
so the Niners didn't have a fourth round pick,
Uh huh.
and then they took I think it was Robert Beal first.
Okay.
He played a lot more than the season because most of the season he was injured, and he got sacked against the Cardinals, or sorry, not Cardinals, Rams.
Okay. Okay.
They didn't really do anything else.
Yeah, he's part of that big Georgia defense that got drafted almost all by the Eagles, but he was like a leftover piece. uh, Fifth rounder, huh? Okay, I kind of forget what round he was drafted in, but yeah, he's all speed. I'd imagine. I mean, I don't think he has much bulk. He's not big, so he is one of the few defensive ends on contract still with the Niners. So um, he'll probably get a little bit of a chance for sure to see what he can do in his second year. But not having total high hopes because we haven't seen much. Who do you think was next up? We drafted.
Daryl Lucher.
Okay, yeah, his foot in the Super Bowl was terrible because that
Yeah.
ball bounced. Oh my god. Anyways, okay, forget about going back. Let's see. Daryl Luter. Overall, what do you think? What do you think?
He didn't do anything.
He didn't do
He
anything.
was a negative effect.
Negative effect. Okay, he played special teams.
He
Yeah.
he played
Okay.
corner like he played um starting corner kind of
Uh huh.
against the Rams. He played a lot against the Rams.
Okay. Okay. I don't remember that.
Cause like we're resting the starters, but I didn't really see anything from him.
Yeah.
And then he was mostly a gunner for the season.
Yeah. Okay. All
And then
right.
his gunning skills are terrible compared to Samuel Womack, who was like inactive against the Chiefs.
Yes. Yes. Healthy scratch for Samuel Womack, who is a very good special teams player in his own right. So, all right. All right. Let's just speed through the rest of them. Who else do we got? D.
D.
Winters,
Yeah.
TCU linebacker.
Got like a false start, I think, against in the Super Bowl on a punt.
Okay. Oh man. All right. Next person. I mean, these linebackers. Jalen Graham, right, is another linebacker we drafted.
Yeah, like last pick in the seventh round for us.
Okay, so we have some possibilities for linebackers since we are kind of thin. Dre Greenlaw might be out for a little bit of the season or half the season. Who knows how he'll come back after that Achilles?
Yeah, AJ Graham didn't really do anything, so
Yeah,
yeah.
so there's a big question mark about these people, whether or not they can fill Greenlaw's shoes or any of the linebacker shoes that we have. I mean, the big shoes.
And then my favorite kicker or punt returner of all time, Ronnie Bell.
Oh man, he's dude solid, man. I'm just kidding. Okay, yeah, I mean he dropped some easy passes. He caught some amazing passes, and like in the beginning of the season or preseason or something, he
Yeah.
showed a little something, a little glimpse of possibility. But then as soon as Ray was out, we were nervous as heck when he was doing the punt returns, and he looked like a deer in the headlights and fumbled the punt, and it just happened. Oh my god, it was just. So I don't think we can rely on him unless he makes a big jump in the second year. You never know. You never know. But so far, right now, I gotta say, I don't think he should make the team. I mean, if we get some other wide receivers, he's on the bottom right now. You know, in my eyes. Although Danny Gray could be even lower, wherever he's at. Okay, all right. So we went over last year's draft.
Don't forget about the guy who also held in the Super Bowl late into the game, Brain
Braden
Willis.
Willis, yes. Oh boy. uh, he might be tight end number 2 next year. If Charlie Warner's he's a free agent. Ross Dwelly is a free agent. Braden Willis could be tight end number 2 next year for all we know, unless we sign somebody or draft somebody. Okay, all right. We done with that last year's draft? You said D plus. Yeah, I
At the
could.
time, was C plus.
Okay, all right. Give it a C minus right now. Yeah, not so hot. Not so hot at all. But we have a stacked team, so it's hard for these rookies to come in and play, get significant play time. So you got to accept that. That's
But
how
the
things are
chances when
working.
they did get to play.
Yes, exactly. You know, then they did not do so well. Yeah. All right. So, what are some of the positions that we need, right? Well, we need a lot of positions, actually. You think we are stacked, but then there's a lot of holes here and there. What do you think is the ranking of the positions we need to look for in the draft?
I would say cornerback slash nickel,
Number one, huh?
because the Niners have Lenore, so he can be moved anywhere.
Nickel or corner, yeah. Oh, outside,
So it's like an equal need. and we cannot rely on Amber Thomas. I don't think Samuel Womack is that good of a coverage guy. We don't know much about Daryl Luther.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If we could spend like a day two pick on a corner, hopefully they'll be able to. There will be starter quality, and we can put them in at nickel or outside, depending on who falls to us. Yes, definitely. What's the other some of the other positions you think are important, like in the rankings?
Offensive tackle, but Cole McKivitz, according to PFF, played like average for an offensive tackle.
There's a lot of average in our offensive line, I think, right?
Yeah, except for
Yeah,
Trent Williams.
yeah, of
Pretty
course.
above average.
I think Aaron Banks, Brendel, they were all about the same, right? About 60s or so. Uh, Burford, I think, dipped down a little bit into the 50s in the PFF grade.
Brendel's like under 60
Under 60?
or something like
Oh,
that.
God.
Pretty bad.
Gotta look that up. But yeah, it's not a great O line. We need to strengthen it up. I think the whole O line needs a little bit of help. It center Brendel, we can do an upgrade. I think if we can't get Feliciano back as right guard or some other veteran that's kind of proven, I think uh, offensive guard is also something we need to look into the draft. Um, some other ones is D line. That's something we always need. Defensive end, opposite of Nick Bosa. It's the same thing every year. We need somebody that can pressure um, on the opposite side of Nick Bosa. So defensive end, defensive tackle is also something. We have a lot of free agents: Ken Law, Kevin Givens. They're all free agents. We don't know who's coming back. Armstead is been with us for a long, long time. Um, what 2016? That was
Yes.
like before.
Also, Jake Brendel has 63.9 PFF grade.
Okay, yeah,
Not that
so
bad.
in the 60s. Then Hargrave, right? So we have those two, but we have nobody behind them right now. Leah Davis, maybe. Uh, and then tight end and safety is somewhat important. We need some depth at safety, especially with Hufanga out, Gibson not knowing if he's going to retire or come back. Linebacker, of course, Greenlaw's out. Um, Burks, Warren Burks. I don't know what's going to happen with him. And DFF is not really, I don't think, a starter quality linebacker, too. So there's a lot of holes. Anyways, um, we looked through some of we watched the combine, right? Going through a bunch of websites, um, mock drafts. We did all these things. There's a few draft crushes that we kind of we kind of found. So, what you think? What do we got, JT?
One is embarrassment, like this is not in specific order. Uh, yeah, and also there's Graham Barton.
Yeah, we can just go by like say offensive lineman. What is some of the offensive linemen? Graham Barton. He plays a lot of positions, right?
Yeah,
He's
but
from Duke.
I don't think he could play offensive tackle.
Short arms, huh?
Yeah,
It's always the case, right? A lot
T
of people.
Rex.
T-Rex arms. Yeah, he played tackle. He could probably play guard, and He's played center too. But he's a really smart guy too. Yeah. So I think that'd be a great pick. But he'd probably play interior lineman for us.
And then Tanner Bordolini, and my dad, both discovered him in the combine because he played or did really well in the drills.
Yeah, he's doing really one of the drills, and of course for me, I've always known that Wisconsin linemen, offensive linemen, do pretty well in the NFL. They're, I don't know, maybe it's not historically all the time. I mean, ever since, but for a long stretch, they were famous for their O linemen. So, and then the guy just blew it up at the combine. He looked great. So that would be that's a guy that we like too. There's somebody that you like. Those I don't know. You were talking about this crush of yours.
Also, I need to go over Amarius Mims because
Mm-hmm.
he got injured in the combine. He ran pretty good 40-yard dash for his size. He's like 6'8",
Uh huh. Huge
340 pounds,
man. That's a mountain of a man.
and he has 36-inch arms. Some offensive tackles have under 34, which is the average
Yeah,
height.
but the minimum length for an offensive tackle's arms is usually around 34 inches, and yeah, his is real long. Only problem is he only had like 8 starts last year, I think. So he doesn't have a long resume of gameplay. So you're gonna have to kind of go by his measurables a bit. Uh, yeah. Um, what else we got? How about we go on? How about the wide receivers?
Anthony Gold, a kick returner or wide receiver is a main position, but he's famous for being a kick returner or punt returner,
Hmm.
I think, because he's really fast. Ran under a 4.4.
Yeah, but he's small, right?
He's like 5'8".
Yeah, 5'8" on a good day, I think. Yeah, but we saw some tape on him. He looks quick, twitchy, pretty fast, and that's exactly what you want. Somebody who's also fearless too. That's what you got to be when you're a returner. So looks good. And then Xavier Leggett, I think his name is. Um, he looks great too. Got some speed, pretty good size. So um, that's one of our favorites too. How about let's do some cornerbacks or something, some defensive backs. What do we got?
Max Melton, like he is really good. I don't know why he's in the second round. Like, he's like perfect.
Second, third round. I've seen third, but yeah, he probably has. He ran a great 40, didn't he? A 4.39, I think.
Yeah, and then he one time led the like Nason or something like that in punt blocks
Mm-hmm.
with like three.
Mm-hmm.
He could play slot and outside.
That's what he says. Yeah, play outside, play slot. He was a wide receiver, I think, before, so he has some good ball skills and he can do some returns too. I swear. And
Yeah,
this guy was doing an interview too. He was well spoken, and his older brother Bull Melton is a wide receiver in the NFL.
for the Packers.
Packers right now, drafted by the Seahawks in the 7th round, but then the Packers picked him up, and now he's on the Packers team. So, uh, yeah, that's a great corner. I would love for us to get him.
And the Niners are very interested because apparently the Niners met with him 5 to 6 times.
Uh, let's hope he lasts until our pick. A couple of other ones, right? Kool Aid McKinstry. Now, when I just saw that name, I just loved it already. I don't care what his measurables are or what his stats are. I want Kool Aid on my team.
I also want the Niners to draft Storm Duck. I think out of Louisville.
Storm
Great
Douglas.
name. And the
There's
Niners are
some.
interested. They met with him in the Hula Bowl.
Okay. Well, might happen then. But Kool Aid's from Alabama, big time school, and you know, playing against the big best players. Um, Kool Aid was sometimes rated as the number one cornerback early on, so he's got some skill for sure. And I don't know if he'll last till pick 31, but um, he'll be probably a first round pick. Um,
And the Niners met with him as well at the combine. But he did not participate in any drills because apparently he was hurt. So
yeah,
he's going to do his pro day.
gotcha. Yes. And then Chris Abrams Drain. Um, he's believed by some to be the best nickelback in the draft. So just for that, we saw some good tape. And, if we need a nickelback, boom, that's the guy that we could pick up late, maybe a 4th round pick. That would be awesome. Um, what other players. Of course, I always have a tight end crush, and this is my tight end crush for this year. Because last year was Sam Laporta, uh,
And with
Josh
Wiley, yeah,
Wiley.
Jess Wiley.
He went to the Titans, I believe.
And this year there's a Jared Wiley.
Yeah, not related, I don't think. But Cade Stover is the person I'm sticking my neck out this year because he's from Ohio State, and I've seen some great tape on him. I think we need a tight end. Yes, we did draft Cameron Latu in the third round last season, last offseason, but I think this guy looks great. This looks fantastic. I want another pass catching, dynamic tight end behind Kittle. You know, so Kate Stover. Yeah, remember that
But I
name.
did hear that he dropped a pass against Michigan for a touchdown.
Oh, all right. Well, he's human too. Never said he never dropped a pass. Everybody does, but yeah. I don't know. I want somebody side by side with Kittle, and somebody to take over for Kittle later on because down the road he's not gonna last forever. But yeah, I would love that guy. So one other guy we have on the list for crushes is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Of course, the son of Jeremiah Trotter, the linebacker from the Eagles. He is also a linebacker, I believe, from Clemson, and he looks energetic, high end skills. I would love for us to pick him up, but he's probably going to be a second rounder, I'd imagine. So
Mid? Second?
yeah, yeah, mid. I'd say about mid. So for him to last all the way to the end of the second, I don't know, and I don't think we're going to trade up to get a linebacker. So, but he's a crush. All right. So we have a few things, a few questions. What is this segment called?
Would you be mad?
Oh, okay. All right. So you're gonna throw out a question and then I'll answer. So you got a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you be mad if the Niners trade a Uke for a first round pick this year?
Yes, I would be mad, but okay, I'm gonna give you a but. Okay. All right. How high of a first round pick would you give?
Middle.
Mid first, like a 15, 16?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I would be mad. I would be mad because nothing, not maybe top one of those top three wide receivers might make a big difference, impact. But then right now we are on the cusp of a Super Bowl victory, a win, appearance, whatever it may be. But we're there right now. We cannot be messing around with losing our best wide receiver, pure wide receiver, which is Brandon Ayuk. And yes, I would be mad because we'd have to start over with another receiver, learning um, the routes, learning the scheme. So I would be mad. Yes.
Okay, I know it's not gonna happen, but what if the Niners trade a Uke for the number one overall pick?
Yes. Okay, I would do that because then I would trade out of that and get a bunch of load of other stuff too.
So you don't want Marvin
Trade
Harrison?
back. No, I could probably trade back and then still get Marvin Harrison, number three and number four, or Rome, Udunze. You could totally get a
Malik
few.
Neighbors?
Yeah, you could totally get back. And nah, this number one overall pick is too good. All right, how about mine? Okay, here's the pick. Would you be mad if the Niners spent another third round pick on a running back?
Yes. I think everyone would be mad. Even if it was a projected first round pick, I'd be still really mad.
What if this guy could like catch and
I,
run?
I, I do not
This
care
next
at all.
McCaffrey.
I don't care how good this guy is. I don't care if he has 3,000 yards
No way,
rushing and
you would no.
receiving.
You would be a fan. You'd be out there in line trying to get his jersey.
It'd be split. It'd be split.
Okay, all right. Give me your other question.
Would you be mad if the Niners used a first round pick on Darius Robinson?
First round pick. He did not do well in testing. When I read his profile, he sounded great. and I was like on board with drafting him.
Niners also met with him.
Mhm. So, but then he did very poorly in all his testing. So it's like, of course, gameplay is the most important. Measurables is secondary, but uh, it gets me a little nervous, and I'd rather not go towards drafting him with our first round pick. So I would not be happy. I would think that there would be other people we can get that would make more of an impact, have a bigger chance of making an impact. All right. Okay. Would you be mad if we signed OBJ?
Depends what happens with Juwan Jennings.
Okay. Joan Jennings is still with us. OBJ is our fourth receiver.
A lot depends, but how much are we paying him?
I don't know. $6.5 million.
Nope, not. That's too much money. We can use that on actual positions that we need.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. All right.
And last year, OBJ, we're not last, 2 seasons ago, when the Niners made the NFC Championship against the Eagles, OBJ was kind of a distraction because everyone was wondering where Odell Beckham Jr. was going to go, but he eventually just didn't go to anyone. He waited till like the offseason to go to the Ravens.
Okay.
It was kind of a distraction.
Okay. All right. Yeah, your next would you be mad question?
If the Niners used the first round pick on Xavier Worthy,
Would I be mad? Yes, I would be. Because okay, Xavier Worthy is the wide receiver from Texas. And he broke the combine record on the 40-yard dash. Just in case anybody didn't know. He broke it. It was 4.22 for John Ross, who held the record for like several years, and then he ran a 4.21, so broke it by a hundredth of a second. So now he's the leader, record holder. Um, would I? Yes, because we're not set up. Shanahan never liked speed, and Brock Purdy, he has the adequate arm, but he doesn't have the cannon like Josh Allen or Herbert or Barrow. He doesn't have the same type of arm to throw it 60, 70 yards
so
for
so
worthy speed.
so Sam prefers not to have any exciting attributes about players like speed and arm strength.
Yeah, like Danny Gray is like, well, yeah, he's fast. Doesn't mean much. And also, there's been a good history of like, forgot. I was listening to a podcast too, right? The Locked On 49ers podcast. And then they were going over the top, I think it was top 10, was top 30 receivers with the fastest 40 time. And out of those tons, a couple of dozen of wide receivers, only I think three had a good career. One of them was Marquise Goodwin. Um,
Tyreek Hill.
no, he
I think Tyreek Hill ran like a 4.9. It's got me in top 30.
yeah, you're totally right about that. Yeah. I don't know if he is the top fastest actually. There's like a 4.26s, 4.27s.
I don't think 4.9 is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, it is pretty good. It's pretty good. You're
I
right.
don't think there.
You're right.
I think Tyreek Hill's in top 30 all positions.
But what I'm trying to say is that there's a just because straight line speed does not equal a good receiver, Worthy could be a total bust from what history has shown. Plus, truthfully, we are not set up for that kind of speed. I don't think we could really utilize him to his full potential on our kind of offense, which is predicated on the yak and intermediate throws. So, yeah, I would not be happy with that one. All right, my last. Would you be mad? Would you be mad if we drafted a defensive tackle in the first round when there are three good offensive tackles. You know how they love to draft defensive linemen. Would you be mad if Tyler Guyton and Mims and Jordan Morgan were still on the board, but then they took the sweat guy?
If Mims is on there and he falls to us and we don't draft him, I'm gonna be super mad. Especially a defensive tackle. Like, no, the Niners trade like Armstead away since they drafted a first round defensive tackle, but I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah, yeah. I'm. I think we're both feeling like offensive tackle would be probably the number one thing next to cornerback. Cornerback, there's a big hole. Offensive tackle, there's not a big hole, but it's really important to strengthen that right side of the offensive line or the whole offensive line in general for Brock Purdy to have another successful, hopefully even more successful season. So, uh, yeah, let's not be cheap on the offensive line like we've been you know, for a while, especially on the right side. Let's get some more quality people in here. So that's my 2 cents. Okay. All right. So we are we're done with those questions.
Yeah,
Yeah. Seemed like we were mad most of the time.
yeah.
All right. So there's tons of stuff happening. The free agency is going to be starting pretty soon, like we said. Uh, the draft is April 25th. So we're going to be doing a lot of mock drafts, and we're going to get back on the computer, and we're going to be simulating some mock drafts and stuff like that. Some with trades, some without trades. Um, first rounders, second rounder, third rounders. I don't know how far we're going to go, but it's going to be changing all the time. The further we get closer to the draft, we'll get more of our. We usually have a draft magazine. We're going to do a lot of research and reading, and get some more opinions and data and stats on these players. And um, it'll be exciting coming up in a few weeks. The next few weeks.
Also, I want to mention last time we did a mock draft, I think it might have been 2.0 or one of our mock drafts that we did on YouTube. We picked Jerry Brown to go to the Niners in our first third round pick.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You were excited one day. I remember I was at work, right? I was at work, then
Yeah.
we were texting each other, and we were excited. So yeah, that was awesome. All right, cool. So much more to come pretty soon. A lot more content. Mock drafts 1.0 will be coming out pretty soon.
Yep. I'm not sure how many mock drafts we're going to do because we don't want to wear ourselves out.
This is very true. You can really wear yourself out on a lot of mock drafts. So yeah, totally true. Yeah, maybe 3 or 4. I'm just yes.
Okay, so that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and goodbye.